Hello and welcome back to History Talk. Today we're going to be talking about, was a political solution needed for Northern Ireland? So let's go ahead and let's head in. Hello and welcome back to History Talk. Today we're going to be talking about the political solution wasn't needed for Northern Ireland. So there was a bit of failure, when they had talked to the IRA. So when they went alongside, the finding a political solution to the conflict was still the best strategy, though, to end the violence. Because obviously, peace talks, not the best, but political talk might work. So, the introduction of direct rule was intended as only a temporary measure. So, William Whitelaw wanted to reintroduce self-government into Northern Ireland, but this time with reforms that would fairly represent the interests of the nationalist community. Conflict in Northern Ireland reached a crisis point. In July 1972 alone, 95 people died as a result of violence. Membership of Loyalist and Republican or paramilitary organisations was increasing rapidly. William Whitelaw had a political settlement that would provide a solution that would help to end the violent conflict. The success of Operation Motorman had the ease of it had weakened the position of the IRA, so he felt this was a ripe time for securing a political solution. Now, this, of course, the background, obviously it hadn't been called this yet, but this is the background to the agreement that would soon be called, not soon, but would be called the Sunningdale Agreement. So, the Sunningdale Agreement it involved a lot of different areas, because basically the problem that a lot of the time they would have had was that if you're negotiating an agreement, then you're going to have to deal with some of the main parties. You're going to have to deal with Sinn Féin, SDLP, Alliance, Northern Ireland Labour Party, Ulster Unionist Party, DUP, all these sort of things. Now, the main step of the negotiations were this is what they would went out to be. So, Northern Ireland would have its new assembly, parliament, and it would be governed by an executive. In this executive, power will be shared between Unionists and Nationalists. A Council of Ireland would be established to develop the North and South relationships. Because when you're one island, you kind of want to make sure you've got a good relationship between the two countries. So talks in December 1973 resulted in the Sunningdale Agreement, which formalised a political settlement for Northern Ireland. Now, this was basically introduced power sharing, because before this, power sharing was not in effect. If you won the popular vote, boom, that was it. You had control, and for years it was Unionists, because of, gerrymandering and multiple other ways, they managed to sort of basically, corrupt democracy, essentially. So, the Darlington Conference in September 1972 was held. In September 1972, in England, in Darlington, the main parties, the Ulster Unionist Party and the Northern Ireland Labour Party and the Alliance Party, which are obviously, mostly, with the exception of the Ulster Unionist Party, they're not really too strong, because the SDLP, which fights for rights, and, Sinn Féin, refused to attend. SDLP refused to attend because they opposed the ongoing policy of internment. And they're also disappointed that the members of the Irish government had not been invited to the discussions. Now, the main outcome of the Darlington Conference was the publication of a discussion document, also known as a Green Paper, called The Future of Northern Ireland, by the British government. The document outlined the current political situation in Northern Ireland and put forward proposals on how political issues could be resolved. The key points of the document were status of Northern Ireland. It was recognised that Northern Ireland might eventually change its constitutional status to being part of United Ireland. Wouldn't really be advisable, but however, it acknowledged that this would happen only with the consent of the majority of people of Northern Ireland. So, if you want unification with Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland or Republic of Ireland, then you're going to have to get the people of Northern Ireland to vote. Although you could argue, wouldn't the people of South also have to vote? I mean, you can't just go, oh yeah, guys, we decided to add a country to our area. Why? Why didn't we get to say this? Well, no, they voted on it. They said yes. Yeah, but what about us? That's the kind of thing. It's an issue. Like, would you be, surely the South of Ireland or the Republic of Ireland would need to vote for themselves or vote themselves, right? Anyway, next comes power sharing. This is I'm going to say the majority interest should have a role in the government, and minority interest. What am I talking about? Should have a role in government and administration of Northern Ireland. This idea later became known as power sharing. It meant that members of both, majority unionist and minority nationalist communities would be able to participate in government together, because you don't really want to be pushing people down just because there's a small majority. It should be equal, just have that ability there. Now, next comes the final thing, which is the Irish dimension. For most of this, up until this point, the British government had basically rejected almost all attempts of the Irish government to become involved in matters relating to Northern Ireland. This document was very significant because it acknowledged that the South was entitled to have an interest in any political agreement relating to Northern Ireland. Apologies. Now, the new willingness to consult with the Irish government in relation to Northern Ireland became known as the Irish dimension. Now, the significance of the document, it marked a turning point in the British government policy when it came to Northern Ireland and its problem. Many of the ideas within the document would form the basis of the British government policy in Northern Ireland for decades to come and helped to, shape future agreements. Now, it also benefited because the SDLP, which originally was against meeting, were impressed with the Irish dimension aspect of the document. They were, willing to become involved then, because they felt, they're willing to see sense. So they become involved in discussions on the legal settlement. Then within the UUP, however, the document is opposed by the Vanguard movement, who are, fairly offensive. Well, actually not fairly, very offensive. And you could argue racist. They were against power sharing and the Irish dimension, as they felt too many concessions were being given away to Catholics. So, kind of just racist towards Catholics, just why? Why not concessions? I mean, you get them if you're in need of help. If you were pushed down, you'd be getting them. So, Anyway, the British government decided to hold a border poll in Northern Ireland on the 8th of March 1973. This was a vote on whether or not Northern Ireland should remain part of the United Kingdom, as there was a majority of the unionist population in Northern Ireland. A result was in favour of the UK. Now, this was obviously a guaranteed result, It's very obviously, guaranteed, that if you've got many unionists that way, then yeah, it's going to happen. So, the purpose of holding the poll was to reassure unionists that their position was secure before actually going into political settlement. Now, the problem was that nationalist parties actually encouraged Catholics to boycott the border poll. So only about 59% of the electorate actually voted. So technically, it's not actually really accurate. But a 99% vote came out of favouring staying in the UK. Now, this obviously signals that they can go forward. So, they hold a new document, a white paper, and that's what we'll be talking about in the next video. So you can join us then. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and watch the other videos and listen to other stuff, because that does help rise the level. It makes it like, wow, like we haven't gotten. I don't know how many views you've got actually over the entire course of the channel, but hopefully one day, guys, we'll be able to reach 1 million views on the channel. That'd be cool actually, because million would be cool. But that's the thing. See you next time. Hopefully, you don't have to come back next time. We're not holding you for it, but it would be nice. It'd be nice. Yeah. And subscribing to the YouTube channel would also be nice. Remember, you can always turn off the bell notifications, and it means you won't get any notifications, or you shouldn't. It just means you won't be annoying you, because notifications are annoying that way. So just click no notifications, and that way, if you want to watch a video, you can just go into the channel instead of just getting notifications. If you want notifications, you can click all or whatever the case may be.